Welcome, everybody, to another meeting of the minds here presented by Shweiki Media. My name is Ryan Dorhn from Brain Swell Media, and so thrilled to be here once again to talk about the challenges that publishers across the country are facing. For the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to talk about a topic that's very hot right now. What you're seeing on your screen is my web browser, and we're going to do some work together, live together today. And we're going to talk about search engine optimization. You might say to yourself, Ryan, I'm good. I mean, we're good with search engine optimization. When you type in my magazine name, we pull right up at the top. And what I want to do is I want to dispel a couple of myths for you today. And I also want to enlighten you, I hope, a couple of things that are extremely important for all publishers to understand and remember in terms of search engine optimization. First things first, there is a real cause right now, if you will, out there of people that are spending all of their effort and energy on social media, okay? Social media is great. Social media is an important part of the planning that you need to have for your success as a publisher. What's happened lately, and I just did a blog post on this over at ryandorhn.com. You can check that out if you want some more detail. The focus is getting away from some core competencies when it comes to the internet, one of which is SEO, search engine optimization, because publishers are spending so much time right now with social media. Social media is great, but you have to remember something. If you cannot be found on the internet when someone goes to a website like Google, okay, if you can't be found when someone goes to a website like Google, you'll be lost, because Google is king. Google is God, if you will, when it comes to being found on the internet. A couple things. There are 4 pieces search engine optimization that are very, very important. The first piece is going to be research. We've talked about it a little bit before, but one of the things that's really important for you to understand is what research really means. That's the first thing. The second thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the structure of your website. We're going to talk about restarting. We're going to talk about the site structure of your website and what that really means to your overall success. The next talk about then today is we're also then going to talk about social media chatter and what does that really mean to you and what it means to search engine optimization for your company. The next thing we're going to talk about is links, and more importantly, we're going to talk about what's referred to as backlinks. And overall, what do they mean, to your SEO? Okay, what do they mean to your SEO? Those are the 4 legs, if you will, of the SEO stool. We're going to look at some real-life magazine examples. Now, you may think to yourself, did we cover this before? Did we talk about this before? We did, but not in the detail that I think is necessary for you as a publisher to fully understand why search engine optimization and it being understood correctly is critical to your online. Let's first begin by talking about research, and let's roll forward. And this is not going to be boring, guys. I know when you hear research, you think, you've got to be kidding me. Really, Ryan? Research? This is going to be just a real snoozer. It's not. This is exciting stuff, and it's important stuff for you to understand. Now, so I'm talking to a publisher, and here at Brain Swell Media, never forget, all of you Shweiki customers, as a resource to you, everything we do for you is 25% off because you are a customer of Shweiki Media. That's our partnership deal. So working together, and you've hired me to work you through SEO. Here's the first thing that publishers say. You know what? When you type in the name of my magazine, we pull up first. So here's the first example that we're going to work with today. This is a magazine that is called Creative Knitting. This is not a client of mine, and I'm not being paid or anything to endorse them or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm just using them as an example today, all right? So here is the Creative Knitting Magazine website, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over to Google, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Creative Knitting. Okay? This is what a lot of magazine publishers do, is they go and they type in creative, their name of their magazine. Oh, I'm sorry, so it should be Creative Knitting Magazine, okay? And then they're going to click search, all right? And look what happens. They pull first, right here. Here they are, first. That means you're number 1 on Google, right? And that's what so many publishers say. Look at that. You type in the name of our magazine, we're number 1. We're number 1. Now, what we need to find out, though, is we need to find out in the last 30 days how people have actually searched for that phrase, creative knitting magazine. So how do you find out? You're going to go over to Google and to Google's AdWords account. Just sign up for a Google account. You're going to go over and you're going to use the Google AdWords account. I'm going to actually put creative magazine in this phrase box because I don't know how many people have searched for that. I'm going to actually type in the word knitting because I'd like to know how many people have searched for that. I'm going to type in some other phrases that we should think are important. These are things that we think people interested in knitting might find. It helps to find us on the internet. So we've got knitting. Let's do maybe knitting. What's some other things? Maybe some knitting patterns. Okay. Down here and type in, of course, this is CAPTCHA, which is the funky code that allows us to stop spammers from finding us. And this is cool, guys, over at Google AdWords. So let's go ahead and put that in. Let's see what's happened in the last 30 days. Okay. Now, you'll notice here as the results pull up. Okay. In the last 30 days, here is Creative Knitting Magazine. All right? In the 30 days, there have been 1,300 global searches for the phrase Creative Knitting Magazine. So go back over to Google, so everybody's on the same page here, okay? In the last 30 days, someone has done just what I did. Typed in this box, Google, Creative Knitting Magazine. Okay, then 1,300 people that did that. And because of that, those 1,300 people, this is the magazine title that they saw here. Okay? They say creativeknittingmagazine.com. Now, publishers will end there, and they'll say, wow, so we're found there, we're great, right? We're golden. Absolutely not. You are so far from being golden that you have to basically start over every morning because that's horrible. It's fine for you to be there, but it's horrible when you look at this. Let's go over here to our Google AdWords tool. We typed in knitting. Okay, that's actually the topic. That's actually the topic. In the last 30 days, there have been 2.7 million searches for knitting. 2.7 million searches for knitting. Let me say it one more time. 2.7 million searches. Now, some of you are saying, well, there's 1.2 million local searches. What does that mean? Well, those of you that know me know that I live just outside of Augusta, Georgia. There's been 1.2 million people locally that are searching for local results related to knitting. That number is highly, highly skewed, either highly conservative, highly skewed. It's not a number that I want to focus on in a local magazine. Okay, then you want to focus in on local searches. Okay, but the local searches here are going to be related to me, my IP address, my computer. I'm located in Augusta, Georgia. If you're located in San Antonio, Texas, you're located in Austin, Texas, the local results you get here are going to be different. So it's going to you get some help on that. Okay, 2.7 million searches. So for the term knitting. So obviously, we want a magazine to be found for that topic, knitting. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's go back over to Google. Now, if we were found number one for Creative Knitting Magazine, you would only assume, right, that we're found number one for knitting because, after all, we were number one for creative knitting. Look down and see if we can find the magazine. Knittinghelp.com? No. .com? No. Vogue.com? No. And look, here's some local results for knitting. So we've already gone by 3. So in your town, had you done this, you would have seen places for knitting near St. Louis, San Antonio, wherever, Houston, wherever you are, Brainerd, Michigan, okay? We still have not found Creative Knitting Magazine. I'm going down the first page, Daily Knitter, Beam, Knitting Central. We still have yet to find the Creative Knitting website. Let's keep going down here. Let's keep looking. Now, here is creativeknittingmagazine.com. It's here in the sponsored links, okay? And you can see that they've paid for placement here. I don't know the folks from Creative Knitting. I'm sure they're wonderful people, so hopefully this is some good analysis for them. They're paying for this, but if I can get myself to the top, I don't want to have to pay. This might cost them as much as $1 a click. Let's keep looking here to see if we can find Creative Knitting Magazine's website. I still don't see it. And now we're to the bottom of the second page, and nothing, okay? So what that means is the only way they're going to be found on Google is if they're paying here at the top, okay? And try to help them fix that issue, okay? So the first thing we're going to do then is we're doing our research. So we know that Creative Knitting Magazine is seen 1,300 times a month, searched for. Obviously, they're found for that. So yay, rah, that's great news, okay? The word knitting, 2.7 million terms. And here's the term knitting. Knitting Magazine, 18,100. Knit patterns, 63,700. 673,000. Let's go and type in knitting patterns. Let's go over to Google and let's type knitting patterns and let Creative Knitting Magazine is found for that. Click search on that. Okay. And let's see, let's look down here. I don't see them yet. I don't see them yet. I'm looking down to find Creative Knitting. Does anybody see them? Creative Knitting Magazine? I don't. Now, there's a couple things to remember, guys. One thing is magazines are uniquely different. Search engine optimization and working the system, if you will, working in quotes, in air quotes, the system, it's really important for everybody to understand that we've only got through point 1 of 4 points. And search engine optimization, A, is not for the faint of heart, first of all. Secondly, B, when you're doing it for a magazine, is very, very different. So with the knitting patterns, as we do our research here, we've done knitting patterns, and they're not for that. So I'm going to imagine that they're probably not found for some of these others. Okay. So what we want to do is we need to be found for knitting. We need to be found for knitting patterns, or we can go find a term that's a little less searched, like knitting magazines, and try to be found for that at 6,600. See, there's something to be said about not getting in the fight with all of these 2.7 million searches, because sometimes you don't want to be in that fight, because if you're the new guy to the fight, that means you're kind of showing up with maybe a stick, and everybody there is driving a tank. Okay, so there's something to be said about going after some of this, what we refer to as sort of low-hanging fruit, and that's something that you really talk with a search engine expert, especially somebody that knows magazines, about to determine, should I go after the 2.7 million? Okay, now, so that's research, and that's how we're going to do our research and figure things out. All right, and I'm going to give you another example here in a magazine of a website we worked through this process, and they're doing very, very well. Okay. So let's go over to Creative Knitting. Let's go over to their, to their site. Okay. So we're over here at their digital site for Creative Knitting, and what I've done is I have actually turned on a tool that highlights the word knitting on their page. There's a couple things in terms of website structure that's really important for everybody to understand. If you determine that your phrase is knitting, then you need to set up your website so that knitting, the phrase knitting, is the most prominent and prevalent thing that can be found ever on the website. So you'll notice as you look at the screen, I've turned on this highlighter, and so you see the words knitting, and this is referred to as occurrences of a key phrase. Okay, so here's knitting. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Scroll down. We've got 5, 6. Okay, we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 right now occurrences, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19 occurrences of knitting on the page. Okay, now how do we determine and how do we beat our competition? What we're going to need to have is we're going to need to have more relevant occurrences. Now, what you have to be careful of is you can't get into a situation where what you're doing is called littering. Basically, you're just repeating the same phrase over and over again. But I'm really covering the surface of this, because really what you need is sections and categories all about knitting. You need sections and categories all about the things that we research. So if I was advising this customer on this site, I'd want to make sure that obviously they're already winning for creative knitting, so that's not a problem. The knitting, a lot of occurrences of knitting. They need a lot of occurrences of knitting patterns. Okay? If you look here, here's free knitting patterns. To me, that's a really, really great thing to drive traffic from. So I might set up a section or a category that's titled free knitting patterns, okay, and really label things, a lot. And scroll down, here and find more things. Here's 90,000 knit patterns. I might set up a section for knit patterns. And you might say, Ryan, what you're doing, though, is are you giving people what they're searching for? Is that what your goal is? Yes. So typically, you already have the content, okay? So clearly, with knitting, as a website, clearly they already have content, okay, on their website. They're not being found because they don't have enough relevant content. Now remember, Google does have things in place that can see when you're trying to game or work the system. I mean, they're obviously extremely intelligent people. So you have to set things up in such a way so you can set yourself up for success. Now you'll notice that as we're here, let me get over real quickly. Let me click the back button here and go to creativeknittingmagazine.com. And so we go to the website here because what it did is Google actually set me off to their subscription page. Okay, so they're on their website, which is very, very nice. But what I was showing you is where Google directed me, there weren't that many occurrences, so that in and of itself is a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and type in knitting again into my tool, and I'm going to highlight all. We are on their actual website. And let's go and scroll down the page. And guys, this is the analysis that I would work you through if you were a customer of mine. This is really important analysis. So look through, and you'll notice here that you've got an occurrence here. Here's one. Okay. Notice they do have knitting pattern, which is in our keyword list, right? Let's go back over here and look. They have knitting. Well, actually, it's knitting patterns. So they really need knit patterns. It would be a better way to match it up. Okay. So here's one occurrence. Scroll down the page. I'm on their main page, guys. Did I type that in wrong? K-N-I-T-T-I-N-G. Highlight all. There we go. Turn the tool on. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got one occurrence here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 occurrences on their main page of the term knitting. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over back to Google, type in knitting, because that's what we want to be found for, okay? And let's go ahead and check out. Okay, here's knittinghelp.com. That's number 1 on the website on the page. Okay, and so let's go ahead and click on it. And we'll do, in this case, okay, so we're on Knitting Help. This is number 1 on Google. And turn on Highlight All. Holy cow! Did you see what happened? Okay, watch us turn this on. Pow! It's like see all the things that are blinking. I mean, they've got 15 occurrences, within the first, 20 lines of the page, 30, 40 lines of the page. Does everybody see the phrases that are blinking for knitting? Okay, and this really isn't littering. I mean, it really is them just, oh my goodness gracious, look at all the occurrences that are happening within the first 30 lines. I mean, it's really at this point is very obvious to me, why it is that they're pulling up, well. That's just, granted, guys, this is just one part of the puzzle, but already, I mean, I can see already. What the heck is going on? Okay. All right. Now go ahead and let's explore a little bit deeper. Okay. So we've done our research. Okay. And we're coming over to the website and we're looking at site structure. So let's go back to the magazine site. So what can we do even on the main page alone to the website more easily found? The first thing is we need to have at least as many occurrences as the number 1 person in the market. All right. So we go through and find out. So let's just say here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have at least 25 occurrences on this website that's number 1. So that tells us what? Over here, we need to have at least 25. The equation that I can give you. Most of the time, you really need to have, something like 10% of the phrases, on your website need to be the key phrases you're trying to target. So if you look back over to our research real quick, what you notice then is you're going to notice in the Google AdWords that you've got knitting patterns, okay? So knitting patterns, if you want to get found for that, okay, and it's going to also encompass knitting as well, which is cool. Knitting patterns, you're going to need a lot of occurrences of that. So let's go look at the magazine site again, okay? And let's type in knitting patterns, okay? Command V, okay? And let's go highlight all. Now, what I've done is I'm highlighting knitting patterns on the website. Here on the Quick Knitting website, I'm highlighting knitting patterns. And I did spell it correctly, right? Okay, I did, yes. Here, and the problem, guys, that I'm having, and so if I'm their SEO consultant or their internet coach, we don't have any occurrences of knitting patterns. Might have knitting pattern. Let's back that off one. Highlight all, okay? So now we've got 1 occurrence here of knitting pattern. In the middle, let me look, see any others. So even if you go and click on knitting pattern, okay, and it goes into the website, as I look at this particular page, there's not any other mentions of knitting pattern on this page. So what I'm saying to you is that based on our research, let's go back over to the Google AdWords, okay? Based on our research, there's not enough found for knitting patterns to even make them relevant to Google. I mean, there's occurrences on the page. So how do these occurrences appear? I mean, what am I talking about? These occurrences could be in terms of how the page is titled. Look at the top of the page, how the page is titled is one thing. You want to look at content. Like here's the content of this, particular. It doesn't say anything about knitting pattern in the title. Here in the tags, I don't see any tags. I don't see metadata. I don't see anything that says knitting patterns in it. Okay, so it's really no wonder to me that creativeknittingmagazine.com is not pulling up. And again, please let me be very clear. I don't know Creative Knitting Magazine. Okay, I'm sure they're wonderful people, and it does appear to be a really, really great magazine. What I'm trying to do is explain to you using this example that you are not. This magazine is not being found. The search volume that is out there. So they're missing out on hundreds of thousands. Actually, they're missing out collectively. Let's look here, guys. So in the top amount of research here, you've got 1,300 searches plus 2.7 million searches. You've got 18,100 plus 673,000. So right now, missing out on almost 4 million searches a month because of the site structure, the way that the website is set up. Okay, and missing out. Here's the sad part about it all. They have a magazine. It's a magazine, and I think it's really important for them to look into this in great detail, just like it's important for you to look into in great detail. Okay? So remember, point number one was research. So let's click back over on that tab real quick, and again, just in really brief review. I went to Google AdWords, and I typed in the terms that I feel probably people are searching for. Now remember something, guys. I might be wrong. These might not be the terms because I'm not the publisher of this magazine. Okay? Look down through the competitive analysis here. Look down through the competition and the competitive analysis. What I'm saying is there's about 5 million searches that are potentially available. Unfortunately, they're not being found. When we looked for knitting, unfortunately, they're not being found. They're not even found for knitting patterns, which seems to be something that's really important to them. Okay? And the next part of this, though, in being found online is chatter. How much chatter is happening online about their particular magazine, okay? How much you find that. What you want to do, and very important, chatter is important because Google is, unfortunately, it's kind of like a giant popularity contest. It really is. What it means is how many times people have mentioned you online. How many links do you have coming back to you, okay? Now, what I've done is I've taken the name, the .com name, and you can do this as well. Notice that I've placed it in quotes, okay? So follow me in Google here real carefully. So I've done quotes, knittingmagazine.com. And then what I've done is I'm going to click search, okay? What this is going to do is it's going to pull back every page there right now that has creativeknittingmagazine.com on it, which is usually an indicator to me of how many other websites actually have my web address on it. So that gives me an idea of how many people have linked back to me. Now, if you're a technical person that's watching the webinar today, this is not exactly how you track chatter and backlinks, but this gives you a really good indication, okay? So obviously the first one is the magazine themselves, okay? So what we want to do is we want to scroll down the page until we get away from our .com name, okay? So the first occurrence here, and there's a couple things I want to note here. The first occurrence is on freepatterns.com. You know, it's creativeknittingmagazine.com, which is a link back over to the website in most cases. But look at the date on it. It's April 24th, 2009. Okay, that's old. That's really old. Okay, let's keep rolling down. Look for some more things. Let's just go ahead and let's click on page like 6 of Google and see what's coming up. So creativeknittingmagazine.com is appearing on getfoo.com. Okay, I don't know what that is. So just as a publisher, I want to check that out, right? See what I'm getting. So let's go type it in and getfoo.com. What is it? I mean, it looks like it's a bunch of junk, to be honest. I don't know that website, so let's click off of it. Let's go over here to creativewomanclub.com. Actually, it looks like it's another something for their magazine network. Let's go ahead and click forward. We're trying to find where are people mentioning you. Here's eHow UK. That's a great link to have. See if they mention the magazine on the page. And I can again use my tool to find that, pretty quickly. Okay, so they mention of their website right here. Now, one of the things though, it is mentioned, so it's called a citation. This actually isn't a backlink because it's not a link all over to the the website. Let's go real quickly. Let's go over to yahoo.com. Let's take a look and see. Excuse me. That one is still in the air here. Let's go type in links, and the .com name, links, colon, the .com name on Yahoo. And let's see. I'm not getting it there. Let's go ahead and type in link and see what we get there. Click search. There we go. And so what I'm seeing here is you might get here and it says in links. Number of inbound links is 114. 114 inbound links. And you want more than that. I mean, you obviously want to have as many as possible. But this is just using Yahoo Site Explorer, link, colon, and the .com name. And show you how many occurrences you have over on Yahoo. See, guys, I mean, this is an involved process. It requires, some help from somebody that knows what's going on to help you get found. Okay. Well, what this does is it leads us to the conversation of backlinks, because it's really, really important for everybody to understand and see, what backlinks, what they mean, and what it actually looks like. Okay. You want as many websites as possible to link back to you. Okay. So let me pull up a graphic to illustrate what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. Now, notice here on this graphic that's in the middle of the screen, you'll see the little thing that says My Site. Okay? And you'll notice that there's a lot of other websites that are out there linking back over to you. Okay? And that's at least what you want. What you want, these big balls here, these are usually websites that are, maybe some bigger websites, maybe media websites or websites that have a higher, what we refer to as a page rank. Google is, if all things being equal, okay, Google is looking, for you to have, as many links as possible to your website, because what that's going to do is it's going to tell them, hey, this website is popular and it's got a lot of popularity, because it is a giant popularity contest. I mean, if you think about it. So if you've got your website in the middle, you want to have as many search engines pointing back to your website, but what you also want is you want as many other websites as possible pointing to you. Okay. So another example, you here in the middle, and you've got websites that potentially are linking all over to you. And, one of the things in this graphic example here in the middle that I think is so important for everybody to understand, you need a lot of backlinks. Now, you don't want garbage links. You don't want links that are coming from maybe your child's soccer website, or if you're a knitting magazine, links that are coming from a hot dog website or a fishing website. While links are okay, you'll notice in this example here, the yellow links are websites that are more relevant to you, that mean more to you. Now, let's just say you're a city and regional magazine like many of you are. Locally, you're going to want to link to each other. I mean, establish a linking campaign within your city Convention and Visitors Bureau or your local Chamber of Commerce. If you don't already have that going on, that's something really important, okay? Because links are really, really, really important to your overall strategy, okay? Now, let's remember something. Let's go back and let's review, okay? There are three components to having really, really good SEO success, okay? First is the research, and we're going to give you another example here in a second of Country Roads Magazine. The second is site structure. How have you set up your website to best enhance, that's funny, to best enhance those key phrases and those key terms, okay? This chatter, what's happening out there on the Internet? How many occurrences of your website are occurring, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter or it's on other websites? How many occurrences are out there that's called chatter, okay? And the second is the graphics that still here on your screen, and that's links. What are you doing to push more and more links, over to your website, because it's just so important, okay? So just one more graphic on the backlinks example. It's really important for everybody to understand that you need backlinks from multiple places. You need backlinks, from social media pages, from RSS feeds. You need backlinks, if you can, from other magazines, locally, etc. Backlinks are just so unbelievably important to your overall success. Those are the four main things. All right? Now, what I want to do now, and by the way, guys, if you have questions about this, just send me an email over to ryan@brainswellmedia.com. I promise you I'll answer those emails, as well as I'm happy to give you a review like this on your own, absolutely free, as a customer of Shweiki Media, 100% absolutely free of charge, okay? We can walk you through these strategies and help you further, all right? Okay, let's go ahead and let's take a look over at a website that is a customer of mine, having good success being found for phrases that are important to them, okay? This is some great folks. This is Westmoreland Publishing. They're Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Country Roads Magazine. All right, Fox Smith, Ashley, these guys, they just do a really good job. And they're really a pillar, in my opinion, of how to do things right, not because I'm working with them, but just because I think they've really embraced technology, and they've done a really good job. Let's take a look at one of their phrases, okay? One of the phrases that they focus in on is Louisiana. Oops, I got to spell it right. Louisiana. Okay, and then let's focus on one of their phrases, which would be cuisine. Okay, so let's type that in. Q-U-I-S-I-N-E. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and that would be one of the phrases that we're going to use. Now, Louisiana cuisine. Let's go first. Now, again, go through. So remember the four things: research, site structure, chatter, links. Okay, let's go to Google AdWords and go ahead and type in Louisiana cuisine, and let's click search. Okay, because we know how much is being done for that. Okay, now we know that that's one of their key phrases, Louisiana cuisine. Okay, and notice right here, there's 880 searches. Now you might say to yourself, okay, hold on for a second. 180 searches. Listen, that's only one keyword of several that they're trying to be found for. Okay. Now you'll notice though it ties right into Louisiana recipes, which they're also found for, as with Louisiana cooking, Louisiana food recipes, etc. Okay. So what we're doing is I'm giving you an example of what we did is we ran research. Louisiana cuisine was one of the things. Collectively, though, what we did is we found that they want to have a search volume of around 30,000 can be captured for. So Louisiana cuisine. Okay. Now there's 880 searches. Let's go over to the site. We'll highlight it all. Okay. Pardon me. And let's look through and see where to start. So at the top, you've got Louisiana cuisine as a part of the title tags at the top of the page. Let's scroll down and find other occurrences of it. Say highlight all here. Turn it on. Okay. Oh, it's turned gray. I'm sorry, guys. I can't see it real well. Here's an occurrence here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different occurrences there. You'll note under cuisine, okay, if I go ahead and click on the navigation menu, you see it says cuisine here. When I go and click over to that particular section, then cuisine is noted here, regional cuisine, and you're also going to notice as we scroll down through the page, you're going to notice multiple occurrences of Louisiana cuisine as well, all throughout the page, and you'll notice it's here in the bottom of their website as well, okay? And one of the things that actually, I might actually encourage them to do this is actually this section should really be called Louisiana cuisine. That would help them even further. Okay? So remember, we did the research. I'm showing you that they've got cuisine and Louisiana cuisine built into. Now keep in mind, Louisiana is so prevalent on their website that Louisiana and cuisine together appear on the page a lot. Okay? So they're able to probably shortcut it a little bit by just putting cuisine on the page. But if we're really going to get airtight on it, we make sure it says Louisiana cuisine, okay? When you click restaurant reviews, you're again on this bottom of this page going to see Louisiana cuisine. You're going to see Louisiana cuisine mentioned here in the left rail as well, okay? All right, so that was site structure, all right? Now we want to look at overall chatter. So let's go ahead and go to take their name, freeroadsmagazine.com. Okay, let's go directly over to Google. Let's type and see how that's working for them. So we're going to do quotes, countryroadmagazine.com, all right, and let's click search. It's just out 37,400 citations mentions countryroadsmagazine.com all over the internet. You're asking yourself, okay, how do we get more citations? Well, if you're a customer of mine, what we're doing is each month we're taking a featured article for you, and we're putting that article out to 300 different SEO-driven websites in an effort to drive this number up. So if you go and you type in the name of your magazine and it only appears, say, 300 times, you've got to hire somebody to help you with this. You got to really, really ramp this up. You really can't do this, on your own. The other piece of this is this also gives us a relative number to let us know, how many links are being found, for the website. So as we scroll down, here's like Tommy's Fish House. Here's Head Keys. Let's go ahead and click over here and see how it is that they're how it is that they're mentioned. They're mentioned here. It's not a link, so it'd be better, if it was a link over to their website. But overall, what I'm trying to show you is just by doing some small things, they are really, really making a dramatic impact upon search engine optimization. Let's pop over here real quickly to Yahoo, and let's take a look at the number of links that Yahoo is reporting. And I didn't do this before, so I'm doing this live with you right now on this webinar. So remember, we're going to type in link, : guys, when you get done with this webinar, you need to do this on your own, all these things that we're talking about, to see how it's going and how you're doing, okay? And, man, check it out, 1,929 inlinks. It's huge. It's a lot. I'd love to see it be 10,000. But, it's absolutely huge to use this as as an example, okay? Before we wrap up today, let's go ahead and look at another example, somebody I've used before, a customer of mine, Holistic Horse Magazine. You can note right away that, their, look at the top, their main phrases are going to be equine massage therapy, equine health, horse health, equine therapy. So let's go ahead and type in, I've not done this, we're doing this all live, guys. I've not done any of this in advance. Let's type in equine health, and let's highlight all occurrences of equine health on the page. Let's go ahead and look down the page and see. Okay, so there's one there. There's another one. There's another. So they got equine health on the page a couple of times. Maybe they could add a few more of those. Maybe over here in the right, in the right rail, or something like that. Go ahead and look at equine massage once and see how they do. Oh, and by the way, look here. So they've got equine therapy as one of their big phrases. So they've got equine therapy right here as one of their drop-down menus. So that's really, really great to have that as a part there. So let's click on equine therapy. And look, their title tag is equine therapy, which is really, really great. You'll notice when I click highlight on this page, we've got equine health is on the page as well. That's really, really great. Look, it says equine therapy right here on the page, content management system. You notice we're doing a lot of things right. Let's go ahead and so they already did the research, obviously, so we didn't do that step with them, but we'll look and let's go punch them into Google. And remember, we're going to go over to google.com. Let's punch them into Google over here. Whoops. Go to google.com. Go ahead and punch them into Google, holisticcourse.com. Let's see how many occurrences they have. 11,700. Not bad for, a smaller magazine. Obviously could be better. And, we can work with them. I don't do SEO for Holistic Course. They just happen to be, Karen over there is just a really great publisher, longtime friend of the company. And so over here and check out, let's go over to yahoo.com. Again, guys, just check this out and see how they're doing with links. Link, : here. Wow, look at that, 1,300 inlinks. That's really great. Really, really great. So, as we roll through this process, I think what's really important for all of you to understand is that we've got 4 key pieces to search engine optimization. And the first is you need to do the research, because if you're found for your magazine title, the name magazine, really, honestly, who cares? Really, because unless, and that's what I didn't do real quick. Let me type in Holistic Horse Magazine real quick, and let me type in Country Roads Magazine, because that's really an important part of the process, is understand that just because you type in your magazine name doesn't mean that you're doing well when it comes to search engines. So let's look at type in Holistic Horse Magazine, only 36 searches. Come on, that's not good. You can't optimize and know that you're. So if I type in Holistic Horse Magazine here, okay, do you emphasize this point? Okay, and over to Yahoo and I type that in and I click, explore. Here it is. They pop up first, and so many publishers look at that and they're like, my gosh, I'm number 1 on Google. Well, you're number 1 on Google, but nobody's searching for that. Only 36 people. So really, quite honestly, it doesn't matter. And one of the things to remember about this whole process, guys, is that I'm making this up. I'm just reporting the weather. I can't make the weather. And so look through this process. I hope that you're coming to a realization the way that I'm coming to a realization as we're going through this process, and that is that you really need to know what it is that people are searching for. And you set up your site. So remember, that's the first thing, research. Second thing is you need to set up your website so that you can be found for those things that people are searching for. Okay. The third thing is, how much chatter is happening on the Internet? Do you have a lot of links and occurrences out there on the Internet, people linking back to you and talking about you on Facebook, on Twitter, on Dig, Delicious, Newsvine, Furl, Fark? There's just so many things that it's important for you to understand and important for you to consider. And then you've got that last thing, which is links, the number of people linking back to you. And if you don't have a lot of links, you're just going to get lost, when it comes to the Internet. So, it's just really, really important for you to take all these things, into consideration. And then the last part, in my opinion, of the whole process is I really believe that you have to, look and potentially then enlist the help of professionals like Brain Swell Media to help you really get to the top. There's just too much out there, guys, for you to be able to remember on your own. And so that's why I think it's really important for you to get a hold of people like us to help you with that. So overall, I hope that this has been a really good proposition for you today and a good expenditure of your time, because if you spend so much time working with social media and you don't spend a ton of time on your search engine optimization, you truly are missing out on an integral piece of your overall success as a magazine publisher. So what I want to do, the reason I brought up my website is when you come over to the website, there are actually SEO videos that you can watch, and so you're able to go over here to this video, and you can click then over on YouTube, and it's going to bring up other videos for you to consider and for your consideration for you to look at, and you can also click on the SEO tab to learn more about it. And that's the end of my sales pitch there. So in conclusion, guys, I really feel it's really important for you to spend time looking through and exploring search engine optimization. It's very possible that you, like many other publishers, will need to reach out for help, and that's okay. Is this an expensive proposition? No, absolutely it is not. If you do get help on this, it could cost approximately $300 per month to get help to work through these situations. And why is it an ongoing process? It is because links come and links go. This is something, it's like changing your oil. You have to constantly do this each and every month. It's not something you can do one time and walk away from. You constantly need to be creating new links, and if you don't have the staff to do it, you need to hire someone to do it. And it's where people like me come in as well, okay? So remember, research, site structure, chatter, and links. Those are the things that are going to be mission critical to your search engine success when it comes to the Internet. I appreciate today, guys. I hope that this has been very beneficial to you, and I'd love for you to report back to Steve and to Gall and to Dave and everybody at Shweiki Media. If you've got other questions and comments, send me an email over to ryan@brainswellmedia.com, and I'm happy to answer those for you as well. And as always, from all the folks at Shweiki, we appreciate your business very, very much. Have a great day, and good luck with your search engine optimization. Remember, when you're found on the Internet, that's the key to success of growing traffic and the key to making money when it comes to your website. Next time, we're going to talk about great site structures for making money. Take care, and have a great day, everybody.